strong.
Hi everybody, it's just me today. The kids are away with Curtis doing some grocery shopping and I have to bake some bread. We are out. So I thought while I was baking it, that I would share with you how I make the bread. Now we were usually using the regular modern wheat bread for a long time, and we'd bake bread that way. But then we discovered last year, after watching a video that somebody had shared with us, that einkorn wheat was far better grain than the wheat that we were using. And einkorn wheat's an ancient berry, and it is totally unhybridized. It's the wheat in the purest form that hasn't been hybridized throughout the years. And we have discovered that not only does it taste really good, but it's far better for us to digest it. It's much easier to digest. You know, when we ate bread before, you know, we didn't feel bad, but we felt like we just didn't feel quite right, a little icky. And sometimes the children would complain about their stomachs hurting every now and then. So when we switched over to the einkorn wheat, we discovered that we really digest it better. So we just decided just to keep using that bread. So what I do is I order the berries, the wheat berries from einkorn.com, and then I blend them in our Blendtec blender, and I just go from there and bake it like that. So without much further ado, why don't we go ahead and bake some bread. Okay, here I have my wheat. This is the einkorn wheat, and it comes in big paper bags like this. I get 45 pounds at a time because with a family of 6 who love to eat bread, we can go through it pretty quick. And I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like. I don't have any of the other wheat to compare it with, but it's, you know, it's a little different. It's the berries are smaller. They're about half the size of the wheat berries that you see today. But we're going to go ahead and blend those in the Blendtec now, and I'm going to put those in there, and I blend about 1.5 cups at a time. Just put them in the Blendtec. And this blender is amazing. We are actually going to do another video specifically for this blender because it has really done well for us. And it blends this grain so fine, and it makes a really good bread. So we're going to blend that for, I'm going to put it on the highest speed for about 35 seconds. All right, I've got my wheat ground, and it's real fine. You can see that. And I just do, like I said, probably about 1.5 cups to 2 cups at a time in the Blendtec until I get what I need. I kind of just fill the bowl to get started so that I don't run out. And then we have our water, our bowl. I've already got some cold water in the bowl. And then I'm going to add some hot water to it to make it pretty warm, not lukewarm, a little warmer than lukewarm. Actually, when I started learning how to bake bread, I lived with some housemates, and the one that showed me, my friend that showed me how to bake bread, she said, if you can put your finger in there and keep it in there, then it's warm enough, and without having to take it out. If it's too hot, if you have to take it out. So, and this feels pretty good. This is warm. So then we will add 2 cups of the flour. 1, 2. And then I have 1/3 cup of, this is the sucanat, and you want the sugar in the rawest form that you can get it. White refined sugar is not good to consume at all. So we'll do the 1/3 cup of the sucanat and 2 tablespoons of yeast. And then we'll just whisk it up. And I'll stir it up too. And then we're going to let that bubble, get that yeast working. I'm going to cover it and leave it alone for about 20 minutes. Okay, we've got a nice sponge here. So it's been about 20-25 minutes now. And before we add any more of the wheat, we're going to add 1/4 cup of olive oil. tablespoon of the, this is actually real salt. So white refined salt, that's not good either for you, and we'll talk about that in other videos also. But this is real salt, actually sea salt. Celtic sea salt's even better. But we're going to go ahead and use that. And then we're going to just put 1 cup of the flour in at a time. Maybe I'll mix this up first. Mix that salt and oil in there first. And then we'll add 1 cup of the wheat at a time and just mix it in there every time and get it thoroughly mixed in. And one thing about this recipe is that it's pretty foolproof. I just add 7 cups of flour. I don't have to decide whether I need a little more or a little less. I just consistently just add the 7 cups of flour after the sponge. 2 cups to begin with to make the sponge, and then 7 cups afterwards. And it always turns out perfect for me. This wheat is really different in that you can't knead it into a ball. I mean, you could. The first time I made it, I realized that I was needing more flour than I used with the wheat that I was generally using, and I just kept adding more and more and more flour, and it just would not form that ball to knead it with. And then finally it did, but it was hard as a rock, and it was just too much flour. And I baked it and I cooked it and it tasted good, but it was heavy. It was really heavy. So, you know, I decided after that that I would just do the 7 cups of flour and let it be like a cake-like batter and see what happens after that. And we actually really loved the way it turned out. So we just do that every time. I just put my 7 cups of flour in there and stir it up, let it rise. And it does great for us. So we just consistently do that. You'll see when we're done how it turns out and how delicious it's going to look. Okay, the dough's risen to twice its size. I like this bowl because the rim right inside here is right where I like it to go. So then, even then, I don't even have to think about if it's risen enough or not. I just look at the rim and see that it's right in line there. And then we're just gonna stir it up a little bit more here. And I have 3 loaves. This will make 3 loaves of bread. So I have the 3 loaf pans here, and I use coconut oil to grease the pans, and then I dust it with some of the einkorn wheat. And if you just use the oil, your bread's going to stick to the glass pan. And I prefer glass, but it does take an extra step to make sure that nothing sticks. So then we'll just go ahead and put the dough in the pan. Okay, this dough is sticky, so I'm not going to cover it to allow it to rise. So I'm going to let it rise just open like this, and it does fine like that. And we'll let it rise to the top of the loaf pans, and then we'll put them in the oven. They're looking good. They have risen, double in size again. We'll put them in the oven, and we'll show you how they look when they come out. There we are, folks. 3 very beautiful, gorgeous loaves of fresh einkorn wheat bread, straight from the oven. I wish you could just smell them. They are so good. You'll have to bake some for yourself so you can smell them for yourself. They are so delightful. So you can see that I have to change the way I think beautiful bread's supposed to look like, because there is that cave there. Just dig into a loaf of this right now, but we don't do that. We wait about, we wait at least till the next day before we eat fresh bread, because we want the yeast that's in here to die completely, because you don't want live yeast in your body, and that's a whole other video in itself, and one day we'll get to that. But smells so good I can't even focus. This is good bread, and we love it. I just want to say it again. Einkorn wheat, I am sold on it. You know, I've never tasted bread this good before. It tastes good. It makes you feel good. It digests really well in your body. It's good for you. And it's good for people that may have a sensitivity to the regular wheat. You might want to try it because, like I said, with us, it really helped us to be able to digest the food better, the einkorn wheat better. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I loved doing it with you. Baking bread is so much fun, and this is just about the only way we eat bread anymore, unless we get into a real pinch. And we'll be doing more videos. We are so happy that you joined us, and I hope that you will stay tuned for more. Until then, live well and be strong.